and welcome to the B.A.S S, Big and Small Screens. Today, today I'd like to talk about a Ron Howard film because I heard recently that Ron Howard is going to be directing the new Han Solo movie, I guess, because the other director left. Um, I haven't really heard too much else about it, but it piqued my interest. So when I was looking for something to talk about today for this episode, I came across a Ron Howard film. And that film is this one, A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe, Ed Harris, and I believe Paul Bettany, Adam Goldberg, Judd Hirsch, Josh Lucas, Anthony Rapp, Christopher Plummer. Quite a few big names in this. And this is set about, what's his name here? John Nash. That's who Russell Crowe plays. John Nash, brilliant mathematician, uh, to the point that he is able to visualize math in a very interesting way, kind of almost hallucinations in a way. And this is back in like the I don't know if it's the 60s or probably not the 60s, maybe the 70s or the 80s. It's a ways ago, and he is, I think it's back in the 60s because I believe there is a whole threat of, the Red Menace, communism, and whatnot going on. But he is playing this mathematician who ends up getting uh, recruited by Ed Harris, who works for the government. And he wants to use Mr. Nash's brilliant mind to decrypt secret messages. And these secret messages are ones that he sees in, that they're, according to Ed Harris, are being uh, sent out in the newspaper. So he wants him to find these messages and, alert them so they can keep an eye on these communist communications and whatnot. And there's this whole thing of him going through the college and whatnot, and having a wife, his life progressing as he's leading this double life, where he's like a normal mathematician normally, and he's doing this other stuff. And then you get to a point, and spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen this. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly suggest you do. Because as it says, 4 Academy Awards, including 2001 Best Picture, for a good reason. It is a fantastic movie. Um, very, very character driven and based on a true story because John Nash is a real person. Uh, but you end up finding out that over the course of things, that everything's not as it might seem with Mr. Nash because he has a mental disorder. He sees hallucinations. He has paranoia, delusions, and whatnot. Because Ed Harris, or the character that he plays, I should say, the actor Ed Harris, um, isn't real. Neither is the character that Paul Bettany plays of his friend from college. It's not real. He's imagining these people and interacting with them, leading a whole separate part of his life that is nothing but a hallucination in his own mind. Because as you can see, him on the cover here, he's very, very paranoid and whatnot. And the codes that he's picking out of the newspaper aren't real. He's just completely having, you know, a mental breakdown over the course of the entire movie. And it ends up leading him to, a low point in his life that he ends up eventually clawing himself back from, getting help that he needs uh, to, live his life, to deal with his mental illness and whatnot. And it is a beautiful and moving movie, really and truly. It is one of the few movies that are in this vein that I would unequivocally recommend to anybody, especially if you like Russell Crowe's acting. And in this, he's top notch. Paul Bettany's fantastic in it as well. Uh, Ed Harris is very menacing. There's a lot of neat things in this particular movie. Um, and the ending is really cool too. I'm not going to spoil that bit. Uh, but yeah, it's one of those movies that is kind of strange, but also very much kind of moving and gripping. Once it has you, it doesn't let go. So yeah, it's one of those ones that I thought I would recommend for you this week on my little show here. So that's going to be it for this episode of Big and Small Screens. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. And throw a comment in the comment section. Uh, have you seen A Beautiful Mind? Do you know of any other movies similar to this that you think I might be interested in? Let me know. And until next time, check out A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe. You might like it. And I'll see you next time.